What's up guys, how's it going? Today we're going to go through how to play Astra. Astra is, as I'm sure most of you know, a controller. So maybe for you filthy duelist mains and auto lockers out there, those are the agents that have smokes and usually are the ones that you're asking your teammates to pick up. Astra, in my opinion, is one of the most versatile agents in the game and brings more than just smokes and the ability to block off lines of sight. Astra's kit revolves around her stars. You get 1 star at the beginning of each round and are able to buy a further 4 stars for 150 credits each. Now by pressing X you enter into her astral form, where you are able to not only see the entire map but also place her stars. Stars can be placed anywhere in both the buying phase and the mid round, and stars will become active after a brief channeling period once placed, or once the round starts if you place them during the buying phase. From here you can select a star by either looking at it, even through walls, or hovering over it in astral form. Once a star is highlighted it will glow slightly, and that is where her abilities come into play. Her E, Nebula, is a smoke. That's pretty much it. Pretty standard stuff. It lasts for 15 seconds, has a cooldown of 14 seconds, and she has 2 charges of this. Effectively, she can constantly have a smoke up if managed correctly, and obviously with 5 stars available at the beginning of the round. You can also press F to recall stars. This leaves a brief smoke on the floor before vanishing. Stars have a short cooldown before being able to be used again, and also if you've already placed a star, you do not get it back when the next round starts. Used stars that have been recalled are yellow on your HUD, whereas unused stars are the normal bluish green that you have for most other abilities. Her C, Gravity Well, creates an AoE that pulls players towards its centre for just under 3 seconds before exploding, rendering all inside vulnerable for 5 seconds. This ability has a cooldown of 25 seconds with 1 charge. Her Q, Nova Pulse, concusses players inside its radius after a brief wind-up, leaving them stunned for 4 seconds. This ability also has a 25-second cooldown with 1 charge. 2 things to note is that both Gravity Well and Nova Pulse, I said these affect players and not enemies. So be careful when placing or activating these abilities, as they could negatively affect your teammates. Secondly, all of her abilities have cooldowns, meaning you can use them continuously throughout a round. Astra is the only agent currently to have this, allowing for multiple combinations of her kit. If you're thinking, damn that sounds OP, that's because it is, and that's why she's one of the top picks for most high levels of play and in Pro League as well. Her ult, Cosmic Divide, is pretty much Viper's Toxic Screen, but on steroids. It splits the entire map, blocks bullets and dampens sound, and makes it very difficult for enemies to swing through without getting insta-killed. It is easily the best anti-intel ability currently in the game. This ult is not only great for setting up site takes, but also for retakes, and it is a great way to get an easy round providing your team plays off it correctly. Astra is pretty much the ideal primary smoker. If you don't want to use Gravity Well or Nova Pulse, you can effectively have 5 smokes available for your team in each round, more than any other agent will give you. Or you could place 3 smokes down, similar to people like Brimstone, and still have enough for a Gravity Well and a Nova Pulse. But she's so much more than just a smoke operator. Gravity Well and Nova Pulse are great pieces of utility for setting up engagements, as well as pushing opponents out of power positions. Placing a star close to a tight corner, or just to the side of some cover and using Gravity Well can pull enemies into the open, or using Nova Pulse allows a teammate to enter and get an easy kill, or again forces an enemy to move and placing them in a more open position and allowing you to get the kill. On defense, I like to double up stars, placing 1 at the entrance to a site or at a choke point, and then 1 directly behind it. After smoking the first one, I will wait for footsteps and then use Gravity Well to pull enemies in. An enemy inside the smoke or about to swing out the smoke is immediately pulled into an open position, making them an easy kill even before the vulnerability is applied. And the best part of all of this is that you can do this for your teammates on the other side of the map without having to take much time out of your own gameplay. Her ult can turn a difficult round into an easy win if placed right and coordinated with your team. Blocking off entire lines of sight for the team to enter a site and plant, and having teammates watching specific points where an enemy might swing out of makes retaking or denying a plant almost impossible. If you and your teammates work together, you can make it impossible for a defender to walk through your wall without dying, as most times they'd have to check a full 180 degrees worth of line of sights that you could be holding. And on defense, it makes retakes really easy. Take the map split for example and B site. A common setup will see teams plant right at the edge of site and hold garage and B back, forcing the defenders to come to them in the open to contest the plant or to go for a retake. You can Astra ult in line with the door of garage to the edge of sight, keeping Spike on the defender's side and defenders on the other side of the wall. Attackers will now have to swing and guess if you're defusing and where your teammates might be holding angles, making it a lot easier for the defenders to pick off enemies and even get the defuse without the team knowing. A lot of people say that Astra seems too complicated or confusing. My answer to that is she really isn't. If you understand the maps, understand how your team or their team want to play, depending on whether you are attacking or defending, and with a little bit of pre-planning, she is just as easy as pointing and clicking. My advice for playing Astra or improving as an Astra player, especially on defense, is just as simple as learning the maps and learning how those teams play on those maps. Having an understanding of the different choke points and ways that the current attacking team are pushing can really help you preset those stars and save you a lot of time during rounds. If you can preset stars to counteract how the opposition have normally been pushing, this can make slowing or even stopping their attack a lot easier than having to take time out of your round just to go into the astral form to place stars once you've found out where they're attacking. Another tip is just try and stay alive longer. One Astra star can be really useful, but using 5 stars in one round can really make a difference. Take this scenario for an example. If you try to use a gravity well round a corner and then you swing it and die, guess what? No more smokes, nova pulses or gravity wells to force enemies out of advantageous positions or block lines of sight. The longer you are alive, the better. And I'm here, you might be saying, it's not always down to me whether I live longer or die early. Well, sometimes no, but most of the time it is. If you are with some friends, ask them to pick duelists and make them be your entry for sights and pushes. Or if you're a solo queuing, just ask the duelist. Tell them that you're going to use a gravity well around a corner. Communicate with them. Ultimately, all controllers have the ability to make or break a setup. And with that being said, you have to make sure that you're thinking about the wider round rather than just that engagement right there or that first pick. The longer you stay alive, the more important your kit and your presence becomes. And that's it. That's my Astra guide. I know it's a bit of a basic overview of how she works and how you might be able to play her. I didn't want to go into the ins and outs of what a controller should do per round and what their role within a team comp is, because I feel like I could do that in another video. But if you did enjoy the video or you found it useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could drop me a like and maybe even a subscribe to see other videos similar to this. And hey, it's been my first video for a very long time, so feel free to give me some pointers. Just maybe go a little bit easy on me. Also, if you're interested, I stream on Twitch about 3 times a week, and a lot of the time that is Valorant. So if you're interested in seeing how I look when I play Astra, by all means come and join in, jump in the chat and say hi. But anyway, I hope you're doing well. Have a good one and hopefully see you in the next one.